My coffee mug slips from my hand and crashes against the kitchen tile, splintering into sharp fragments that scatter across the floor. I barely react. My gaze stays locked on my phone, thumb moving mechanically as I scroll through image after image, beaming faces gathered in my aunt's sunlit backyard. 34 guests. I count them twice, maybe 3 times, as if the number might change if I just look harder. Cousins I haven't seen in years. My mother's old college roommate. Even Great Aunt Judith, who can barely walk without her cane. Everyone is there. Everyone except me. The photos show tables covered in cream linens, coral and mint floral arrangements, Fiona's favorite colors, champagne glasses lifted in endless toasts. A carefully planned celebration, clearly arranged weeks, maybe months ago. A celebration I didn't even know existed until now. The sting cuts deeper because just last month I mailed Fiona a handwritten congratulations card, pressed with flowers from my own balcony garden. I'd even offered to help design her wedding stationery, invites, programs, anything she wanted, free of charge, a small gift from one cousin to another. But now, my Portland condo feels icy despite the spring sunlight pouring through the windows. The same light that had warmed me moments ago now feels harsh, almost accusing. In that instant, it hits me. I wasn't simply forgotten. I was intentionally excluded. I sink onto a kitchen stool, memories rising around me like a tide I can't fight. Thanksgiving flashes through my mind, Aunt Marlene's voice echoing across the dining room as she bragged about Fiona's new title at the bank, vice president at 29. Her face had glowed with pride. Then her eyes shifted to me, her smile thinning. And Ocean's still doing that little hobby of hers, the logos and such? That little hobby, the one that paid for this condo, the one that built a client list with 3 national brands. My parents had stayed silent, nodding along while the rest of the table placed Fiona on a pedestal, right in front of me. Even when I'd mentioned my condo's down payment, $150,000 I'd saved over 7 years, the topic had immediately swung back to Fiona's engagement ring. My hands shake as I pick up my phone again. Before I can talk myself out of it, I call my mother. She answers on the 4th ring. Ocean? Is everything all right? Her tone carries that familiar mix of concern and quiet judgment, as if she's already decided I'm overreacting. There was a bridal shower for Fiona yesterday, I say evenly. Everyone was there. Why wasn't I invited? Silence stretches for a moment before she sighs. Oh, that. Well, Marlene feels you tend to make things about yourself. Fiona deserves her special day. The words hit like a slap. Make everything about myself? When have I ever... Please don't start, Ocean. This is exactly what we wanted to avoid. Your cousin deserves a celebration without drama. I straighten up, realizing my shoulders have been slumped forward, my whole body trying to shrink. So I'm... drama now? That's what you all think of me? It's not personal, Ocean. Not personal. The phrase she uses whenever she wants to erase how I feel. The trembling in my hand stops. A strange calm settles in, cold and steady. This isn't a misunderstanding. It was planned, discussed, decided. I'm calling Aunt Marlene, I say. Ocean, don't, she starts, but I've already hung up. I dial Marlene's number, surprised at the steadiness in my voice. When she answers, clipped and impatient, I don't bother with small talk. Why wasn't I invited to Fiona's bridal shower? A pause, then flatly, I was wondering when you'd call. No apology, no explanation, just ice. You shouldn't have been there. Fiona deserves a day that's hers, just hers. As if my presence would somehow taint her happiness. As if I were a shadow cast over her light. I'm her cousin, I manage. Her only cousin. The words sound hollow, meaningless. Blood clearly isn't enough. Listen, Ocean, Marlene says, her voice tightening. We've all talked about this. The wedding, too. Don't make this into something it doesn't have to be. Some relationships are already strained. The threat isn't even subtle. Push back, and whatever thin thread still ties me to this family will snap completely. I turn toward the window. The city spread beneath me in shades of steel and light, and suddenly, it's clear. My family has always valued appearances over truth, image over connection. They always have. I end the call without another word, and for the first time, the silence in my apartment doesn't feel empty. It feels like peace. A cardinal lands on my balcony railing, its crimson feathers blazing against the dull gray of the spring sky. It pauses, watching me in stillness before fluttering away, and I can't help wondering what it feels like to be that unbound, that free. Later that day, while I'm sketching logo concepts for a new client, my phone vibrates with a notification. I nearly ignore it. Deadlines don't wait, but habit wins. I glance down. A group message from Aunt Marlene. Remember to bring Fiona's wedding flowers on Saturday. Then another message follows. Casual and cruel. Good thing we didn't invite Ocean. Less drama. My pencil freezes mid-stroke. The room seems to tilt around me as I steady myself against the kitchen counter, my breath shallow, my vision blurring. I blink hard, rereading the words, hoping I imagined them. But I didn't. This wasn't a mistake. It was intentional. A coordinated family exclusion. Before the message vanishes with a soft whoosh, I take a screenshot. Deleted, but not before I capture the proof. The group name shows 3 participants: Fiona, Aunt Marlene, and my mother. Of course, my mother. The next morning, I drive to my parents' suburban house, the screenshot burning in my pocket like a live coal. Mom opens the door, dirt smudged across one cheek, her gardening gloves still on. Ocean? What a surprise. I was just about to make tea. I follow her into the living room. She settles into her favorite armchair, the one molded to her comfort and control. I remain standing, glancing at the photos lined neatly along the mantel. Fiona's face beams from nearly every frame, perfectly centered, while mine lurks at the edges, half hidden, half blurred. I got an interesting message yesterday, I say quietly. It was sent to me by mistake. Her face changes when I hold out the phone. Not shock, but weary acceptance. She doesn't even bother to deny it. We all agreed it would be easier this way, she says, brushing imaginary lint from her pants. Fiona deserves a beautiful wedding without complications. Complications? I echo, my voice tightening. You mean me. Now, Ocean, don't be dramatic, she sighs, using that calm, patronizing tone reserved for when I'm being difficult. Maybe you should make other plans for that weekend in May. Other plans? I repeat slowly. While my cousin gets married at the Grand Lake Hotel? The $95,000 wedding where everyone, even distant relatives, gets an invitation except me? Her eyebrows rise slightly. How did you know about the venue? Cousin Rachel called last week, I reply. She asked if we'd be carpooling. Her face flickers just for a second. She hadn't expected that. The silence stretches between us, heavy and cold. Your father and I think it's better this way, she says finally. The whole family agrees. The whole family? I ask. And what exactly did you all agree about me? She looks away, picking at a loose thread on her sleeve. Just that. You've always been sensitive about Fiona getting attention. The words land like a punch. Memories flood in. Holidays where I sat smiling quietly while Fiona's achievements were toasted. Mine brushed aside. Every time I was told not to make things awkward, not to ruin the moment. You're rewriting me out of the family, I whisper. You've made me the problem so you can all stay comfortable. That's not true, she says quickly, but she won't meet my eyes. It is true, I answer. And now I'm left with a choice. Accept being erased or risk losing whatever little connection is left. Mom rises, crossing to the window. Her voice softens, but the words are cold. I hope you'll make the right decision. Your father and I have been helping with your property taxes. If you start making trouble about this wedding... If I make trouble? I laugh, bitter and sharp. You mean if I stand up for myself? If I refuse to disappear quietly? Her tone hardens. This is exactly why Marlene thought it best not to include you. Everything turns into drama with you, Ocean. The final word lands like a door slamming shut. I leave without saying goodbye, driving aimlessly for hours, roads blurring into a numb haze. 3 client deadlines pass while I sit motionless in my apartment, paralyzed. 3 days of work gone, income slipping away as I stare at my phone, waiting for a message, a call, any sign that someone in my family might say this was a mistake. No one does. That evening, Isla shows up with Thai food and a bottle of wine. I tell her everything. every detail. And unlike my family, she doesn't interrupt, doesn't minimize, doesn't tell me I'm overreacting. She just listens.